Take a slow breath for a moment. Before your mind starts questioning why this message appeared, allow your heart to settle. Some messages do not arrive with noise or force. They arrive quietly, at the exact moment your soul is ready to listen. Today is not about fear, urgency, or pressure. It is about connection, remembrance, and peace. There are bonds that time cannot weaken and distance cannot erase. Love does not end when a person leaves this world. It simply changes form. When someone you loved deeply is no longer physically present, their care does not disappear. It becomes softer, calmer, and more gentle, yet it remains just as real. This message is not meant to disturb you. It is meant to remind you of that unbroken connection. You may have noticed memories returning unexpectedly. A familiar feeling at quiet moments. A sudden warmth, a thought, or a sense of presence when you least expected it. These are not accidents. They are reminders that love continues, even beyond what we can see. Nothing is being demanded from you here. Nothing is being forced. This moment exists simply to offer awareness and comfort. Sometimes, those who have passed wish only one thing for us, that we live with peace in our hearts. That we release regret. That we stop carrying unnecessary guilt. That we forgive ourselves for things we could not control. Love from beyond does not bring fear. It brings reassurance. It whispers, "You are not alone, and you never were." If you have been carrying unanswered questions, this message is not here to overwhelm you with answers. It is here to gently remind you that not every answer needs words. Some truths are felt, not explained. The love you shared was real. The care still exists. And nothing important was left unfinished in the way your mind may fear. This moment is not about rushing. It is about pausing. It is about letting your heart remember love without pain attached to it. It is about allowing warmth instead of longing, gratitude instead of sorrow, and calm instead of confusion. You do not need to do anything special. You do not need to prove anything. You only need to allow yourself a quiet moment of reflection. Some messages appear simply to say this. You are loved. You are protected. And you are allowed to move forward without fear. Stay with this feeling for a few moments. Let it settle. Let peace replace heaviness. Nothing more is required. There are moments in life when the heart feels heavier than usual, not because something bad has happened, but because something meaningful is trying to surface. These moments often come quietly, without explanation. You might be sitting alone, scrolling absent-mindedly, or lost in your thoughts, when suddenly a familiar feeling washes over you. It is not sadness exactly, and not happiness either. It is recognition. A gentle awareness that someone who once meant everything to you is still somehow present in your life, just in a different way. Love does not follow the rules of time or physical space. When someone leaves this world, the connection does not break, it transforms. The memories, the care, the silent prayers you once shared do not disappear. They settle into the deeper layers of your soul, waiting for moments of stillness to rise again. That is why reminders come when your mind is quiet. That is why certain days feel heavier or warmer without any clear reason. It is not coincidence. It is connection. You may have wondered why certain thoughts return again and again, especially at night or in moments of solitude. These thoughts are not meant to disturb you. They are not meant to pull you backward. They come to remind you that love is not limited to presence. Some of the strongest bonds exist beyond words, beyond sight, beyond explanation. The people who loved you deeply do not wish to burden you with sorrow. Their love carries one simple intention: your peace. Often, we assume that messages from beyond must be dramatic or overwhelming. But real love does not arrive with fear. It arrives softly. It reassures rather than alarms. It does not demand attention, it invites awareness. The presence you feel is not asking you to stop living or to dwell in loss. It is asking you to remember without pain, to smile without guilt, and to continue forward without fear. There may be things you wish you had said, moments you wish you could revisit, or words you feel were left unspoken. But love does not keep a record of what was missed. Love understands silence. Love understands circumstances. Love understands that human hearts do the best they can with what they know at the time. Nothing essential was left unfinished. Nothing important was forgotten. What mattered was felt, and that is enough. This message exists to remind you that you are not being watched with judgment, but with care. Not with expectation, but with understanding. You are allowed to grow, to change, and to find joy again. Carrying peace forward is not a betrayal of love, it is an extension of it. Those who loved you would never want you to live weighed down by regret or fear. They want you to live fully, freely, and gently. Sometimes, awareness itself is the message. There is no instruction hidden here. No secret requirement. Just an invitation to slow down and listen to what your heart already knows. You are supported. You are remembered. And you are guided, not by pressure, but by love that remains calm and constant. Let this moment be one of stillness rather than urgency. Let it remind you that even when life moves forward, love does not stay behind. It walks with you, quietly, faithfully, and without condition. As time moves forward, there comes a phase in life where you begin to understand that strength does not always look like resistance. Sometimes, strength looks like softness. It looks like learning how to breathe again without guilt, how to smile without questioning whether you are allowed to, and how to move through your days with a quiet sense of acceptance. This stage of life often arrives after loss, after deep emotional change, when the heart has been reshaped by love and absence at the same time. The people who loved you deeply never wanted you to carry weight forever. Their love was never meant to become a burden. True love does not trap, it releases. It does not cling, it supports. And even now, beyond what the eyes can see, that same intention remains. What you feel is not someone pulling you backward. It is someone reminding you that you are still connected through peace, not pain. There is a reason certain memories come back gently rather than forcefully. They arrive not to reopen wounds, but to soften them. They come as reminders that the love you experienced was real, meaningful, and complete in its own way. You are not meant to relive every moment, nor are you meant to forget. You are meant to carry the essence of that love forward, allowing it to shape the way you treat yourself and others. Sometimes you may sense presence during moments of silence. Not in a frightening way, but in a comforting one. It may feel like calm, like reassurance, like an inner voice telling you that everything is going to be all right even when logic cannot explain why. This is not imagination. It is the natural result of bonds formed through genuine love. Such bonds do not end, they mature. You are allowed to live a life that feels full again. You are allowed to dream, to plan, and to build new memories without feeling as though you are leaving something behind. Love does not work that way. Love expands. It makes room. The care that once protected you continues to do so, quietly encouraging you to trust the direction your life is taking. If there were moments of misunderstanding, silence, or unresolved emotions, know this clearly: love already understands. There is no accounting in love, no unfinished checklist. What mattered most was never words alone, but intention, presence, and the heart behind them. Those elements were felt. They were known. And they were enough. This message is not asking you to stop or to rush. It is asking you to recognize where you are now. To notice how far you have come. To acknowledge that healing is not a straight line, but a gentle process of learning how to be kind to yourself again. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to explain anything. Your journey is valid exactly as it is. As you continue forward, let calm guide you more than fear, and awareness guide you more than doubt. You are not alone in this process, even when it feels that way. Support does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it arrives as clarity. Sometimes it arrives as peace. Sometimes it arrives as the quiet certainty that you are being watched over with love rather than concern. Let this part of the message settle within you. Not as instruction, but as reassurance. Not as urgency, but as understanding. What matters most is not what happens next, but how gently you allow yourself to move forward. As this message reaches its final layer, it is important to understand that nothing here is meant to pull you backward into grief, nor is it meant to rush you toward answers. This moment exists only to bring clarity. Life continues to move, seasons change, and so do you, but love remains constant in a form that no longer needs words. What you are feeling now is not loss resurfacing, it is understanding settling in. Every soul that has loved deeply leaves behind something gentle rather than heavy. They leave behind courage. They leave behind perspective. They leave behind the quiet ability to endure moments that once felt impossible. If you notice that you are stronger in ways you never planned to be, that is not coincidence. It is the natural result of love that shaped you, refined you, and prepared you for the life you are still meant to live. There is no expectation placed upon you. You are not being watched with concern or disappointment. You are being observed with peace. Love does not stand over you asking for proof. Love stands beside you, allowing you to choose your pace, your direction, and your way forward. Even in silence, even in stillness, that support does not disappear. It simply becomes quieter, so you can hear yourself more clearly. Sometimes people think that remembering means staying attached to pain, but that is not true. Remembering can also mean honoring what was beautiful and allowing it to live on through the way you show kindness, patience, and compassion today. The lessons you learned through love were never meant to end with separation. They were meant to become part of who you are. If you ever wondered whether it was okay to feel peaceful again, let this be your answer. Peace is not forgetting. Peace is acceptance. It is understanding that love does not need constant acknowledgement to exist. It continues naturally, without effort, without fear, without demand. You are allowed to feel light again. You are allowed to feel hopeful again. You are allowed to trust life again. There is also something important about forgiveness, especially toward yourself. Many people carry silent questions, wondering if they could have done more, said more, or been more present. But love does not keep score the way the mind does. Love recognizes intention. Love recognizes sincerity. Love recognizes effort, even when outcomes were beyond control. You do not need to replay the past to honor it. The calm you may feel now is not accidental. It is the result of alignment. You are slowly reaching a point where memory and peace coexist instead of competing. That balance is rare, and it is meaningful. It signals that healing is not something you chase anymore. It is something you are already living. As you move forward from this moment, nothing dramatic is required of you. No decisions need to be made immediately. No changes need to be forced. Simply continue being present. Continue listening to your inner awareness. Continue trusting that life is not taking something away from you, but gently reshaping you into someone who understands depth, empathy, and resilience on a different level. This message does not end with urgency, because peace never rushes. It ends with reassurance. You are not alone. You are not behind. You are not disconnected. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment, and everything that truly mattered has already been felt, understood, and carried forward with love. Let this understanding stay with you, not as a memory, but as a quiet foundation beneath your steps. Wherever life leads next, you will walk it with more awareness, more calm, and more strength than you realize. If this message reached you, it's not random. Stay with this video till the end, let every word settle calmly in your heart, and receive the clarity that was meant just for you.